Yes, ma'am.
So from today onwards, we are going to learn about unit number 2. That is business intelligence concept and platform capabilities. So this unit includes, first we have to know about what is business intelligence, then what is the architecture of it, its component, its relation with the DSS, means how business intelligence is useful while taking any kind of a decision. Then what are the components of the BI platform, their capabilities, and the competitive landscape of the BI platforms. After that, we are going to learn what are the building block of business reports, what are the types of business report, and the component and structure of business reporting system. After that, we have to learn about what are the role of the mathematical model in BI, then what are the factors which are responsible for the successful of the BI project, and what are the obstacle to business intelligence in organization, then different type of OLAP and their applications, and at the last what are the difference between the OLAP and the OLTP. So very first thing, what is mean by the business intelligence? Okay, so basically it having the number of technologies, applications, and we can say that these are some kind of practices of collection, integration, analysis, and presentation of the business information. So it describes the set of concepts, methods, technologies with the fact-based support system. Basically, the purpose of the BI is to increase the access of managers and staff specialists to historical data for spatial studies and for periodic reporting. So the purpose of the BI is that to gather and provide the information which helps the manager to take any kind of decision better way, to help manager to be more intelligent when making the decisions. So such kind of terms are basically used in the financial analysis. So there are some vendors who provide the BI tools like SAP Business Object, IBM Cognos, SAS, and MicroStrategy. Okay, and the most known example of the vendor of the BI technologies are the Microsoft. Okay, also the SAP Business Object use the business intelligence tools for the access, analyzing, and the share of their information. Also, the BI is the gathering, management, and analysis of vast amount of data in order to gain the insight to drive the strategic business decision and to support the operational processes with new function. So, it is all about the development of the information that is conclusive, fact-based, and actionable. So, we have to learn this technology. So, just give me a minute. Okay. So as we know about the data which is in raw format, so whatever data is shown on my screen, so which is available in the decimal format, but the context of the data is not given. And whenever we are providing the context to the data, it gives us the information. Okay, and whenever we are extracting the knowledge from that information, and we can represent that information in form of the dashboard using the business intelligence tools. So this is the raw data, and by finding out the insight behind the data, we can design such kind of meaningful and useful information. So this is one example of the dashboard of company revenue, and such a kind of values we can predicted or we can visualize with the help of the BI tools. So as we know that one BI tool is the Tableau and another one is the Power BI. Okay, many more tools are available in the market. So in our data in table format or in Tableau format, we can represent it with the help of visualization. We can kind of chart for the visualization purpose. After that, why we use the business intelligence? By using the business intelligence tool, we can make a better decisions. Okay, we can take a decision with the help of the business intelligence tool. We using the DSS system. Okay, so what kind of decision we have to choose? Either that decision is the right decisions or the wrong decision. Okay, so while taking the decision, the business intelligence plays an important role. Again, as we see in the diagram or in the picture, the lot of data is stored in our system, but we don't know how to use that data and how to present that data. As we know that to read the data from the textual format or from the tabular format, it is very difficult whenever the amount of the data is huge, okay, like big data. At that time, the business intelligence is very important because it gives us our data, it presents our data in form of the visualization and the readable mode. So such kind of scenarios are happen in the organization when we are having the huge amount of data, then such kind of questions are coming in our mind. So at the organization point of view, we can say that the first question is how are my sales, means we have to predict the values of the sales for the current year, and for the next one, how much will I sell next year. Okay, so with assuming some kind of a ratio and with the help of the calculation, we can easily find out the sale for the next year. Then also we can represent the data of are my customers satisfied with my services, which other products are my customer interested in, which part of the business are not profitable. Okay, so all such a kind of questions we can analyze with the help of the existing data using the BI tools. After that, there are some stories which are based on the business intelligence tools. So I don't know you are aware about these two companies or not. In that, the first one is the Blockbuster and the next one is the Netflix. Okay. So in 2000, the business of the Blockbuster is $15 million, while the business of the Netflix is the $900 million. Okay, so here we have to focus on what kind of mistakes are done by the Blockbuster. Okay, so the first mistake is that there is a big difference between the product and the distribution. So as we know that Blockbuster made was thinking that what their customer were buying was the experience of walking into store, picking up a movie and maybe some popcorn. Okay, so what they missed, and what the Netflix do, they started their business as mail order movie rental business with monthly subscription for whatever movie you wanted. Okay, so what happened, If the customer got the movies while receiving through the mail, they do not want to go into the store and buy that movie. Okay, so this is the first thing which is done by the Blockbuster. Then the next one is that Netflix invested in the warehousing and distribution model so that the late fees are not allowed, not required in case of the Netflix. And then the next thing which was a mistake done by the Blockbuster is that ignoring the disruption doesn't make it to go. Okay, so what it means, Blockbuster had multiple opportunity to purchase the Netflix in the early 2000 and turn it down because they didn't want to disturb their traditional revenue method. Okay, so in contrast, what Netflix do they had a clear focus on the future, their vision that streaming video will take over. So after starting a stream movie in 2007, Netflix then offered the unlimited streaming in 2008. Okay, again the next thing is that Blockbuster tried to introduce mail order movie on rental basis. They even tried to introduce movie streaming, but the problem is that they were too slow and too focused on the way they had always done things. Okay, so such kind of things are happen with the Blockbuster. After that, how to make the right decision. So whenever we have a a large amount of data, we should know the insights of the data, how to represent that data. Like for example, as we are designing some charts with the help of existing data, but if you don't know the problem statement, if you don't know which thing you have to drag as a column and which thing you have to drag as a row, then you are unable to draw any kind of a chart. So the insights are very important. You should know the importance of the data. After that, whatever information is provided to the tools, there are two types of informations mainly. The first one is the transaction processing and the next one is the analytical. So as we know that what is meant by the transaction processing, that is TPS system. So transaction processing system is an advanced form of information system that allow business to handle and manage the transaction across the globe. It is an information system that capture and process every single transaction that take place within the organization. Okay. So for example, we can consider the banking transaction because it take place the every single transaction of a customer. These transactions include the activities involving collection, retrieval, modification, and all other set of activities that trigger the retrieval of all the transactions. Okay. So again, we can consider another example like hotel booking or ticket booking. All such kind of things are comes under the transactional processing system. Okay, so in transaction processing, basically we are focused on the individual data item processing like data insertion, modification, deletion and transmission. Okay, so this is the scenario with the TPS system, that is transaction processing system. Whatever transaction is done by the customer through his debit card or the credit card, that data is captured, then the processing is done, and we can, after that we got the output in two formats. On one side the data is updating and one side the reporting is done. We are also consider here the example of the ATM machine. Okay, so it also work like the same. We are doing the transaction, our the balance sheet is updating and we got the receipt from the ATM machine in form of the reporting. Okay. After that, the next type is the analytical processing. So what is the analytical? Basically, it focuses on the reporting analysis, transformation and the decision support. So it involves the it involves the performing of the quantitative data. Okay, so quantitative data means what? The data on which we can perform the mathematical operations. Okay, and using that mathematical or the statistical operation, some kind of the decision related results are generated. Analytical processing occurs in data and model driven DSS. Analytical processing software help user to create the various views and the representation of the data. Okay, so now we are going to consider the real time scenario for the analytical processing. The example of the analytical processing are the cross tabulation, clustering, and the regression. Okay, so we are going to focus on the cross tabulation. So the difference between both is that in transaction, just we have to perform the operation on the existing data, okay, and the report is generated. And in analytical processing, we have to perform the model driven data, and we have to analyze something from the given data, and the result is generated. Okay, so what is mean by the cross tabulation? It creates two-dimensional table showing the interaction of two variable. This type of analytical operations are easy to understand, and it is commonly implemented as a pivot table. Now, what is pivot table? A pivot table is an interactive data summarization tool. Okay, so log into my Moodle site. Everybody log into my Moodle site. In unit number 2, I have uploaded one worksheet, that is worksheet for cross tabulation. Download it. Let me know after completion.
Done, ma'am.
What about others? Okay. So, there is one task for you guys. What you have to do? You have to tell me from the database the respondent question 1 and question 2 is given. You have to tell me whenever the question 1 having the response yes, then similar how many times for the question 2 the response is yes. Okay, means both are yes, yes. Then yes, no, and then yes, maybe. Okay, this is first thing. Again, you have to calculate the responses for when
Excuse me, ma'am, your voice is breaking.
Yes, ma'am. Your voice is breaking.
okay. Wait, I'm going to rejoin. Is it clear now? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So basically you have to do here cross tabulation and you have to find out the number of responses. Whenever question 1 having value yes, question 2 is also having yes, and then you have to find out the all possible solutions. That is when it having yes and it having no. Again it having maybe, it having yes, maybe no, maybe maybe. So such kind of cross tabulation you have to do. Means what you have to find out here, whenever the question 1 having the response yes, then how many times the question 2 is also having yes, then when it is yes, then how many times it is no, again when it is yes, then how many time it is maybe. Such kind of combination you have to find out. Do it manually, try to find out the responses. Then I am going to teach you how to perform the cross tabulation in Excel. Yes, Achal. So what you have to do, you have to fulfill the values of this matrix. Whenever the question number 1 having the response yes, then how many times question 2 is also having yes. Then yes, then how many times question 2 having no. Again for yes, how many times question 2 having response maybe. You have to write down these values over here. Again same you have to perform for no. When question number is no, then how many times question 2 is having value yes. When both are no, no. When both are one is no and one is maybe. Again same for when question number 1 having the response maybe. Okay. This operation is called as a cross tabulation because we are performing the operation with the two tabs or we can say two columns. Tell me the value for this column.
042
0
row row 042.
like this.
Yeah.
Okay, what about next?
131.
144.
So you realized one thing here, though the data is very small, but for the cross tabulation we required much time. Okay.
Ma'am,
So
for
instead
third row
of
it is
this,
154.
for which row?
Third.
Third, 154. Okay. Now, with the help of business intelligence, now we are trying to calculate the values for the cross tabulation. Okay. So, first focused on whatever operation I am going to perform and then try to implement it. Okay. Now, what we have to do first, just go to insert tab, go to pivot table and select the pivot table. Okay. Now, for the pivot table, first we have to consider the range. Okay. So, what is my table range? It starts from this one to this one. Okay. After that, we have to select the location for our result. Okay. So, just click here and select that column or row as a result one. Okay, then click on OK. After that, what we have to do, we have to drag question 1 as a row and question 2 as a values. Okay, after that we have to select the respondent as a sorry, select question 2 as a column because we need the structure like this, and then select the responded as a values. Just click here, so it will give us the result. Now just try to cross check it whether it is similar as the previous result or not.
Ma'am, can you repeat that first step pivot was about?
Control Z. First go to insert tab. You can do it simultaneously. Then go to pivot table and select pivot.
Done, ma'am.
Yeah. Then we have to select the range of our table. Okay. So this is my table range. Select entire table and after that we have to select the row for the resultant matrix. Okay, so just remove the existing one and click here. You can click anywhere, no issues, where you want to display your output. Okay, after that, so I want the structure like this. Okay, suppose I want question 1 in row form and question 2 in column format. So just drag question 1 in row label, question 1 in row label, and question 2 in column. And we have to perform the operation on the responses. Okay, so just click respondent into the values and close that report. And if this representation is not in form of tabular form, then go to design, go to report layout and click on show in tabular form. But my report is already in tabular format. So here we can rename it also. We can rename it as a total responses. Okay. So whenever the question 1 having the maybe response, 4 time question 2 is also having maybe. You can cross verify it. This is 1 time, 2 time, 3 and 4. So our answer is right. Okay. So it is observed that it required hardly 1 minute, we can say.